Hello everyone and welcome to this new replay commentary on Wargame European Escalation. So, there has been an official match between the WTF clan and the and the EUGEN team. So EUGEN being, of course, EUGEN Systems, the developers of Wargame European Escalation. WTF has sent a match request on the forums. The EUGEN team has accepted, and both have played this match. So it's a 4v4, 5,000 points on Fulda Gap. WTF playing as PACT. WTF represented by WTD, Firestarter, Praslo, and Walkyre, or Walkyre, I don't know how to say that. And NATO players, of course, is represented by the EUGEN team, EUGEN Panzer, EUGEN MadMat, GrandStrateger, and ObiYul. So that's it for the presentations. Here we go for the game. So we've got NATO players on the bottom of the map controlling Golf and Lima, PACT players controlling Alpha and Charlie. The deployment seems to be going like this. WTD has got a FOB over here, probably will put some artillery here, and going for the control of Bravo and India. On Alpha we've got for now Walkyre on the right, Firestarter on the left, and apparently nobody on the left for now on Charlie, but Praslo seems to be the only man left. On EUGEN side, we've got GrandStrateger going for Foxtrot and Echo, so only one player going for both those sectors. Meanwhile, we've got Panzer going for artillery on Golf with 4 AMX AUF-1s and 4 other artillery units on the right side. Panzer is apparently going to play the support in this game with 8 artillery pieces, a bit of anti-air, of course, defending these sectors, and FOBs for the supply. So GrandStrateger taking all by himself both sectors, Echo and Foxtrot, deploying command units. I'm going to speed this up because it's not always the best thing to look at. So we've got MadMat apparently preparing for an assault on India, while ObiYul is taking care of the right side with Mike and, well, Kilo, Juliet, reinforcement areas and everything else. On the left side, GrandStrateger taking care all by himself of Echo and Foxtrot, and Panzer playing the support guy with 8 artillery units, and apparently also going for Hotel. On the other side we've got artillery on this city, so apparently the EUGEN team wants to shell this city directly at the beginning of the game. So on this side we've got Walkyre taking care of the right side, Delta and probably Echo. Firestarter going for Foxtrot, WTD seems to be going for India, and of course, as I've said earlier, probably for Bravo. He's got a couple of smirks on Charlie, while Praslo is taking care and a bit of WTD also. Praslo is taking care of the left side on Juliet. So we've got one PACT against 2 NATO players here, 2 NATO players against 2 PACT against 1 NATO player here, and MadMat and WTD going for India. Let's go. Oh yeah, another thing that changed. We had a little patch yesterday, and the hide HUD has been fixed. It now hides also the unit names, but of course we can't see anything from this point of view. It'll be very, very nice for those who want to make like little cinematic videos, even if we still see the little like flashing blue color of the units that are hidden. It's pretty nice. So here we go. We've got a big attack on Foxtrot and Delta by the PACT team. GrandStrateger seems to be clearly outnumbered here on the left side, while we've got fairly balanced army on the right. We've got Praslo going for the usual capture Juliet and spam infantry to block the reinforcements on Mike. Hotel controlled by NATO troops, and nobody seems to control Golf as of yet. While the commander going for Foxtrot, GrandStrateger is facing a big PACT attack here with Motrusens and VPZU units, and another a wave of infantry transports coming in, so he clearly sees the threat, pulls back his tanks, his anti-air and his commander back into Gulf. So yeah, this city seems to be lost for the NATO troops. They are being taken out one by one by the quite good Machutens, I have to say. It's 2 HE, so it's quite nice. So Echo controlled by NATO forces. Foxtrot seems to fall directly at the beginning of the game. Well, it seems to fall, and PACT is going to take control of that. NATO is sending in artillery support. Unfortunately, it's a bit long. It doesn't shoot at the infantry, but just behind them at their transports. Not very useful here. Yeah, the infantry is already in the city, and well, the chasseurs FAMAS are trying to defend as much as they can, but they are all taken out by the Mulchusen of the PACT players. So Foxtrot has already fallen into PACT hands. India is contested by both teams. We've got one Sultan on one side and a BRM 1K on the other side. Quite a few infantry units defending it, while we've got a nice army on this side, Legion FAMAS, recon helicopters, Zippos and Jaegers attacking, of course. MadMat seems to want to attack units on India and take control of the sector. On the right side, well, it's a bit better for the NATO forces. Juliet is controlled by the PACT, Mike is controlled by NATO, and neither team has controlled Kilo as of yet. On the reinforcement side, NATO players have to call in more reinforcements if they want to, well, to control their reinforcement area. They've got quite a few sappers and Legion FAMAS. Unfortunately, they are all routing. Just 3 Chasseurs FAMAS squads are left. Well, and well, yeah, PACT players want to cut reinforcements on this side. Coming back to the left side of the map, we've got 2 Cobras attacking. One is taken out by a Tunguska. The other one seems to be quite lucky for now. Missiles going on the right, on the left. The Tunguska is really bad now. This Cobra is really lucky. Tunguska shot the first Cobra with his first SAM missile, but the other missiles just went by the second helicopter. So for now, the left flank of the one big ambush here. There were 8 chieftains in the forest trying to defend the right side of the forest. They were taken from behind by Spider Canalses. And they, well, it's quite a miracle they survived the infantry attack. Unfortunately, 2 BMP 685s coming in from the right just took out 2 of the 4 chieftains that were left. The 2 chieftain MK2 left are just pulling back. Of course, it's the best move to do. They won't survive long in this forest. So the reinforcement area of Echo is starting to fall in the PACT hands. No much units left on the NATO side. We've got just an MX-32 and a Chaparral left in Echo, while 4 chieftains are trying to defend the entrance of Gulf. Well, more or less a counter-attack, I might say. We've got 4 chieftains, 5 Ardens, so let's see what they'll be able to do. So the left side isn't going very well for the NATO forces. In India, we've got the push is continuing for NATO forces. They are pushing back the PACT players. PACT players pulling back the BRM 1K, allowing the NATO forces to control India for a few seconds. Lima and Mike still in the hands of the NATO players. Kilo isn't contested by anyone. And a little push here on Juliet allows to, well, obliges the PACT players to pull back their BRDM2U. And the attack here, well, it seems that the PACT has taken a bit of an advantage here in the reinforcement area of Mike, but not that much actually, just 14 infantry guys left against 12 Jaegers. It seems okay for the NATO players to take control once again of their reinforcement area. Artillery units still shelling at well, the enemy. We've got the nice shelling of the commander unit, and the Tunguska is stunned. Well, yeah, he's just stunned, not really that useful. So we're going back on the left side. Echo is definitely, well, the NATO players are definitely pulling back from Echo. The AMX-32 is trying to hold on his own the sector, while trying to hold back the enemy units, while the Chaparral and the command unit are pulling back. Unfortunately, AMX-32 against 8 Zalos and 2 T-80s is just gonna get killed. And here we go, he goes down. The reinforcement area of Echo, of course, is totally lost and totally useless. Of course, there is no more commander controlling Echo. The NATO players are just pulling back on Gulf. The chieftains are trying to counter-attack, but with 2 Zalos from the left, 2 BMP 685s on the right, they are being shot at on the front, on the flank. It's a bad situation for these tanks. They are pulling back and getting shot at by the PACT units. The Radans are coming in to try to take out the Zalos. Yeah, 5 Radans against 2 Zalos. Yeah, they just seem to be pulling back now. It's gonna be very, very tough for the NATO players to hold on this side of the map. The commander on Echo is pulling back to the middle of the map, probably going to try to take control of Kilo and Juliet. Of course, it's useless for him to stay in Gulf. They already have one commander there, and Echo is, of course, totally lost. The T-80s are killing the Ardens. That's it for one of the last of the NATO troops left to defend Gulf. We've got only a few recoilless rifles left, an ITGM unit left, 1 recon, and that's more or less it. A few artillery units and anti-air, but I mean, against this much packed forces, they are going to suffer and will probably fall quite quickly. Back on the right side, we've got the NATO troops that have pushed onto Juliet, and well, the PACT has pulled back every single unit. The commander is back over there, so it may balance a bit the game, but if you look a bit more the global picture, I mean, there are lot more PACT troops on the left side than NATO troops. The right is more or less balanced between the two teams. If the right flank goes well for the NATO players, it may balance the game. We've got 2,100 points for PACT, 1,500 for NATO, 500 points of difference, more or less. But the PACT seems to have a more offensive and quite a nice momentum here. They don't have, well, for now they have quite a balanced economy actually. Just 1 point advantage for the PACT players, but EUGEN MadMat is pushing on India, and it seems like, well, he is calling for supply, of course. His Zippos need supply, and his Legion farmers also. But the PACT players don't seem to have a lot of units left to defend India. If I would guess, the NATO players are gonna control India for now. Well, the BRM is pulling back. India is controlled by the NATO forces, and here we go. They now have an economic advantage. You've got like 9 points against 7 for now. If they control India, they'll go up to 13. So Gulf still miraculously holding. The Zalos have wiped out all units in this area except of the 2nd Rep FAMAS, who are trying to, well, yeah, they destroyed one more Zalo. Maybe they'll be able to destroy the last one. Chieftains and recoilless rifle units are coming in to try to defend the sector, but it's gonna be pretty hard. The AMX units are being attacked by infantry units. 2 Flak Panzers are trying to defend, but it's gonna be very hard. The first Scot is stunned, pulling back, while the other ones are coming in without any problem. The Vepizadu is killing the first Flak Panther, only 1 left. Yeah, the NATO players are gonna lose this forest. The last Flak Panther is probably gonna fall. Here we go. They lost the Jupiters, they're gonna lose the FOB, and the AMX AUF ones, the 4 of them, are pulling back as fast as they can to survive this attack. Over here, the commander is still holding the sector, allowing a few reinforcements to come in, but it won't last for long. It probably won't last for long. Over here, the NATO push has been more or less stopped. The PACT players are counter-attacking with the few units they have left. Zalo over here, Zalo over here. Even if it's routing, the Chaparral is very, very lucky at this point. Or maybe not. No, he isn't. Kilo and Mike still held by NATO players, but very, very few defensive forces are left. It seems like supply urgent. Yeah. Well, that's it. India is held by the NATO players, but the left flank of EUGEN's army is totally outnumbered, and well, they are holding this last forest to protect the commander just behind it, but a big army here of the PACT forces, a big regroupment, is going to attack Hotel and probably India. Well, at this point, NATO players control a big part of the map. They have a bigger economy than the PACT players, but they are totally outnumbered unit-wise, and they are quite behind in terms of points. They have like 1,000 points behind. They are 1,000 points behind the NATO, behind the PACT forces, and they are totally outnumbered. On the left side, PACT units are just pushing in. Looks like these PACT units are cutting the army in half. India is going to be isolated from their allies, and on this side is the same thing. The attack on Juliet has been pushed back, while Mike is totally, well, defenseless. India seems to be the only sector that may be able to hold, but it has no reinforcement area. It is just a big economic advantage. The 4 AMX AUF-1s have been destroyed over here by the PACT forces, the BMPs and the Zalos. The commander is pulling back, Hotel is lost. It's going to be very, very hard for India now. Over here in Gulf, the BMPs are still moving in, supported by ATGM units and T-80s. Quite a nice combination over here. And infantry coming in from the left. The commander is now moving. GrandStrateger knows he is going to lose this battle, so he pulls back his commander in order to save him. Over here, the commander is pulling back also, going to probably to regroup with the forces to the north, while infantry units are just attacking to the south. All the NATO forces here are in a very, very bad position. The Panzers are destroyed. Where are the chieftains? Oh, over here. Chieftains are waiting for the infantry to come in the city. It's not a very, very good idea. Yeah, that's it. They are pulling back. Oh no, not pulling back. Chieftains are falling. The Milan F2s are gonna die also. The commander is pulling back and trying to still control India. The left flank of the PACT, of the NATO forces, is falling. Here we go. The final infantry push in the final defense line of NATO forces in Gulf is taking place. On the right side, well, is the same thing. The NATO forces are currently reduced to 2 Charidans, so a very, very small force. They have no backup whatsoever. Well, 2 ATGM Dragon units here, but that's pretty much it. Lima is also totally defenseless. The NATO forces are totally crushed. 4,800 against 2,400. Well, 200 points to go for the PACT, and it seems to be, well, more or less done. Oh, missed. What a surprise. So yeah, Gulf is now lost. The commander won't... well, gonna pull back normally. Only 26 points left for the PACT forces to win. Kilo is lost. Mike is gonna fall. India is still controlled by NATO players, but it's pretty much loses at this point. And here we go, 5,014 points. Total victory for the WTF team against 2,400, so more than double points for WTF. Quite a quick match, I have to say. Quite a nice match from both teams, even if EUGEN team has been totally wiped out. Quite a nice organization from the WTF team. Nice push, and everything went quite well on both sides. I mean, even on the right side over there, even if they were pushed back from their sector, they managed to create a second defensive line and counter-attack. So nice combinations of light tanks with the BMP 685s, heavy tanks, T-80s, infantry with the Motrusens, Padukronarze, a bit of Smerch support. Yeah, all went quite well. EUGEN team just got rolled over. Yeah, well, that's pretty much it. A revenge match has been played. I'm gonna comment that as soon as possible. I hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching.